I'm an ex-Mormon, and I'm going to talk about what my Mormon wedding was like and what I would do differently if I was to have a wedding redo, which I hope to do someday by having a vow renewal. But before I get started, this is really important. This is a massive trigger warning. If you do not want to see the inside of a Mormon temple or hear it talked about in any way, if that's going to offend you or upset you or make you unhappy in any way, please just scroll past and do not watch this video. I talk about my experience as a Mormon a lot, and Mormons really don't like that because I don't give glowing reviews. But this is my story. This is my wedding. This is my experience. I'm just sharing it. Please don't watch if you don't want to see. Okay. You may have seen Mormons post their wedding pictures that look like this. This is my husband and I on our wedding day in front of the Bountiful LDS temple. And honestly, I still think this is absolutely beautiful. But this is like after the wedding had happened. These were the photos that we took outside of the temple because you don't look like this when you actually get married. This is the last warning you're going to get, okay? Please don't watch this if it's going to upset you. This is what the Mormon temple wedding ceremony actually looks like. This is the bride and the groom kneeling over this altar together, and then the guy in white right next to them is the guy that does the ceremony for you. The only people that are allowed in this room with you are other Mormons who hold a temple recommend. It's just this little card that basically says you are worthy to enter the Mormon temple. There are a whole bunch of requirements you have to meet in order to have that temple recommend, but for starters, you do have to be a member of the Mormon church. You basically either have to have gone on a Mormon mission or be a married Mormon who went through the temple. There's like other situations in which that wouldn't apply, but that's generally how it is. So my best friend, my maid of honor, could not be there because she hadn't been through the temple, and my husband's best man could not be there because he wasn't a member. We also had other cousins and aunts and uncles that couldn't come in because they're not temple recommend holders. Everybody else in the room is dressed in what we would just call like Sunday best, but the bride and groom are dressed in Mormon endowment ceremony clothing. So this is how my husband was dressed during our wedding. And I was dressed very similarly, except for the hat is different and I had a veil over my face. So this ceremony is very, very different than a traditional wedding ceremony. There's no walking down the aisle. There's no saying I do. There's no writing your own vows or speaking your own vows. There's no like, you may kiss the bride and then you kiss and everybody cheers. The officiant just reads the vows, and if you agree, you say yes. They allow you to exchange rings, but it's like really brief because they don't want to focus on that. And they do allow you to kiss, but it has to be like quick. They told us beforehand, like, this is the way that you need to kiss. If you're going to kiss over the altar, it's got to be like a quick little peck. And of course, like, you can't clap because you're in the temple. So it's, you just do that and then it's over and then you leave. Another element of this is that I got married when I was 19 years old. That's just a baby girl right there. I was 19 and my husband was 23. We were so young. And from the time that we met until when we got married, it was like 6 months. Oh, and fun fact, I actually noticed this morning while I was gathering photos for this video. Today, April 24th, is the day that we met 12 years ago today. So that kind of feels like fate. But anyway, the reason that we got married so quickly is the reason that most Mormons get married so quickly, because you can't have sex till you're married. And we were like all over each other, couldn't hold it back, had to get married ASAP so that we wouldn't be breaking the law of chastity. And I gotta say that when you're 19 years old, your brain is not finished developing yet. It's not even close. There are a lot of things about my wedding and my wedding reception that would have been different if I had done it when I was older and I had finished developing and I had been able to make choices that were more in line with who I am today versus who I was when I was basically a child. Our wedding colors were black, white, and red. I would have never done that today. My dress, it's cute. It's not my style though. I do think this cake is still super pretty. I had them put real roses on it. I think that's really cute still. But I got married in November and there was a blizzard that day. It was crazy. But if I had it to do over and I could choose to get married whenever I wanted because I wasn't on a time crunch in order to not break the law of chastity, I would have had a summer or a spring wedding. And I would like to have it outside. I really like the foresty, woodsy sort of setting. I would want it to be very fantasy, kind of Lord of the Rings inspired. Lots of twinkly lights and candles. And lots of greenery. My favorite color is dark green. There would be so much green going on. I would also have my dad walk me down the aisle. When you're a Mormon, you don't know what happens in the temple until you go through the temple. So growing up, I had this idea, of a traditional wedding, not realizing that I wouldn't get that. And I wish that I had that. Look how pretty. Something like this. I can just imagine my dad walking me down the aisle, and I would write the best vows. Like, I would spend so much time writing such beautiful vows, and everybody would be blown away, and I would get to say them, and it would be so pretty, and we'd exchange rings and have our kiss, and everybody would cheer, and it would just be so happy. Look how cute. This is beautiful. Okay, now for dress ideas. Like I said, my dress was okay. It's just really not my style, and it was extremely structured. Like, it felt like I was in cardboard. Like, I was just inside this dress and it was eating me alive. I really like dresses that are very flowy, and so that's something I would do different, and I think I would like it to have sleeves like this. I like a lot of lace also. Also, an open back. I think this is so pretty, and it would have been considered immodest to do it as a Mormon, but now it doesn't matter. I also love the lace. This super pretty open back and the lace, it's so cute. I love these super dramatic sleeves. They're giving like ethereal. So yeah, that's what my Mormon wedding was like, and what it would be like if I was to get a redo. There's also a few people that would be uninvited if I were to do it again, but there are a whole bunch more people that would actually be able to be at the ceremony, and I think that that would be very lovely. Actually, at the time I got married, my brother was in the military and he wasn't able to come, but he wasn't a card-carrying Mormon at the time, so even if he had been able to come, he wouldn't have been able to be a part of the ceremony at all. I think it would be really beautiful to have a do-over where he actually got to be there. So hopefully we are able to do that someday. However, like, weddings are very expensive and I do have 4 kids. So if any of them are deciding to get married someday, I'm going to be paying for a lot of weddings, and probably my children's weddings will be a higher priority than me getting a redo of mine. But I do hope that we get to do it someday when we can afford it. It would just be like a big party, and my kids would be there, which would be really cute. And I would have a professional photographer, obviously, and get all new pictures, and that would be so fun. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. And for all of us who had a Mormon temple wedding and then left, I hope that we all get a chance to have a redo someday.